welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the fourth quarter and how that impacts real estate as far as Alpharetta and Greater Atlanta as a whole. Now, to cover everybody, we are going to look at it as if we were a buyer and seller. And then towards the end of the video, I am just going to give some thoughts on this current fourth quarter in 2024 and how that ends up tapering into 2025. So just starting out on the seller side, if you are an owner and your home is currently listed or all of a sudden you get a job transfer and you have to sell your property by the end of the year, don't stress, because I think one of the main misconceptions is that this is a slow time of the year and there aren't buyers out there. But in fact, it is one of our second busiest seasons of the year. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that as we enter the fourth quarter and especially before year end, corporations and businesses during main hiring cycles are releasing their budgets for the next calendar year, and they are trying to get relocated employees placed prior to January 1st. So a lot of times what we see, especially on the selling side, is there is going to be a little bit of a lull from the middle of August to the middle of October because you've had the school year start. It's kind of no man's land after the summer. But once we get to the middle of October, towards the end of the year, it does pick up a lot activity-wise. So I do tell people, especially if you know that you have to sell in the fourth quarter, if you can do the marketing ahead of time, maybe in Q3 or before September, especially when things are still green before the leaves have turned, that's a great opportunity to just get it done ahead of time, hold on to it, and then wait till you're ready to list. So it is a situation where we will have a lot of clients where their home may be on the market. Maybe they just mistime summer a little bit. And then all of a sudden, October, November comes. We may have gone weeks without an offer or any offers at all. And then you actually get multiple offers pretty quickly. So as a seller, I think it provides a unique opportunity to capture on a time when a lot of people think it is slow, because you do have people out and about. There is more downtime around the holidays. They're taking vacations. So it is an opportunity for them to go look at properties. The only things I would really try to avoid if I was personally selling a home in the fourth quarter is making sure that I had all the marketing done prior, and by marketing, I mean photos and videos, prior to having any holiday lights or decorations up that really kind of make the home feel like it's in a particular time of the year. Because that way, if by chance it doesn't sell before the end of the year and you go into January or February, you can still utilize that collateral without having to redo it. And I know for everybody, it is much easier kind of getting the house ready that one main time, because you really only have to have it show perfectly for the photos, video, and upfront marketing. And then it can usually be a little bit more relaxed as you just are on the market having showings come through. Now, on the buy side, this is typically one of my favorite times of the year to be able to buy a property. And I say this because even though we just said it's a great time for owners to be able to sell and still capitalize on buyers that are out there, most sellers don't think that way. They feel like they missed the boat, summer's over, all my buyers from the school year are gone, and I'm kind of just sitting in these winter months with nothing. And fear creeps in, especially as we approach the end of the year, whether they need to do holiday shopping, the tax season is coming up. Everyone starts panicking a little bit more about wanting to get funds readily accessible. And usually when you have homes, especially ones that have been sitting on the market or are left over from summer, that's a better opportunity to find a deal. So I would typically tell a client, especially going into it, if we're looking at homes anytime from October to the end of the year, there are still going to be situations where properties have multiple offers, especially if there's great ones that just hit the market. But the ones that have been sitting, we can take our time a little bit more or be a little bit more tactical in the way we approach and structure offers. Now, this isn't trying to offend anyone, but as a buyer, you do want to. Now, this doesn't mean we're trying to offend everyone and all of a sudden just lowball every property out there. But I do typically find the buyers hold a little bit more power psychologically as we go into the fourth quarter. And there are better opportunities to maybe negotiate more on the property, add some different deal terms that you may not see the rest of the year. And it's just a better overall shopping experience because you don't have the impact of the spring market where there's just so many more buyers you're competing with. So that's kind of just a quick overview on how the fourth quarter happens here in Alpharetta. Now, obviously, our main selling months are going to be from March to the end of July, where you have people before the school year's ending through the school year in the summer, prepping for that transfer. Those are going to be the hot months. Historically, that is when a property will sell for the most amount of money. But I just talk about the fourth quarter because there are a lot of misconceptions that is completely dead. And especially for agents, this is a time when a lot of them take a step back, they relax. And for me, it's almost like the foot goes on the gas a little bit more because there's so many more opportunities and less competition. I am usually, as far as real estate goes, just kind of ecstatic about the fourth quarter. I think Q3, you get burned out a little bit. You've gone through Q1, Q2, those really intense spring, summer months. Things take a step back on Q3. And then Q4 is just prime opportunity to work a little bit harder when other people aren't and really set the tone for the next year going into it. Now, as for 2025, especially with the new administration coming in, a lot of people are wondering, are interest rates going to go down? Are homes going to be more affordable? What is going to be the overall impact? And I do think we are going to have to take a little bit of a wait and see approach on this. Obviously, the Fed has started their cutting cycle, but that doesn't necessarily impact the mortgage rates directly. Those are more based on the bond market and how it reacts to the overall economic movements. So what we may actually see, and just kind of general thought, is as there is an easing in monetary policy, you would hope that interest rates are able to come down on properties. But in the event that they aren't able to, and we do kind of still have this elevated high fives to sevens interest rate, the other concern on my end is if we do end up going through with tariffs that are potentially proposed on other nations. And while it is great to bring the building and back home, especially for American home builders, and we do want to keep everything in-house, it takes time for that to fully play out. So what we may actually see is higher tariffs or cost of goods from other countries, leading to increased pricing for builders here and elevated pricing on the real estate market. Now, unfortunately, this may keep prices, at least for 2025, a little bit more elevated. And if interest rates come down, that may also bring more buyers into the market. So I say all this with the fact that going into 2025, we are still at an overall inventory shortage, and it may be a little tough in the short term to find properties, especially good deals. But also, I don't necessarily see prices easing a whole lot, even if interest rates come down. So it's just some food for thought if you're thinking about buying a home in the next 12 months or as a seller. I think you have a little bit more time to capitalize on the high prices that we've been seeing, and it will get more competitive again as we enter those spring months, which typically for Greater Atlanta and Alpharetta usually start right around March 1st. That's kind of the entrance to our spring selling season. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, whether it's real estate related, things about Alpharetta, Greater Atlanta. And I hope you found this information valuable. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thanks so much.